a million-dollar monster that hauls tanks like toys and survives explosions. This is no fiction. The Typhoon-K, a fortress on wheels, cuts through chaos with its otherworldly suspension. The Oshkosh M1070 carries 80 tons of firepower and never stops. The LVSR storms through deserts, jungles, and snowstorms without flinching. Tune in, because there's an even deadlier beast, the tank hauler from hell. The Typhoon-K is powered by a 450 horsepower diesel engine, which is more than enough to push this beast through the toughest conditions. With a top speed of around 65 miles per hour, it's not breaking any land speed records. But when you're hauling troops through a war zone, speed isn't the top priority. Survival is. The truck's suspension system? It's like something out of a science fiction movie. Hydropneumatic, meaning it can stay steady even when tearing across the roughest landscapes. You don't have to worry about getting stuck in the mud or snow either. And with an operational range of over 700 miles, it's perfect for long missions where supplies are scarce or rest stops don't exist. But this beast hides a secret that could change warfare forever. But that's not all. The Typhoon-K can be modified for pretty much anything, whether it's a medical evacuation, reconnaissance, or setting up a mobile command center. It's modular, meaning you can reconfigure it to suit the mission at hand, adding more armor or equipment as needed. However, all that tech, armor, and firepower doesn't come cheap. At nearly $1 million per unit, it's one of the priciest trucks in the game. But you're paying for protection, versatility, and sheer endurance. The Russian military knows its value, using it for peacekeeping, counter-terrorism, and big combat operations. It's the kind of vehicle that you want on your side when things go sideways. Now, let's shift gears to another beast, the Oshkosh M1070 HET, which might as well be called the monster truck of military logistics. Built to haul some of the heaviest weapons and tanks across battlefields, this truck is a giant, and it doesn't flinch when faced with extreme conditions. Imagine carrying tanks, artillery, and armored vehicles over rough, unpredictable terrain. It's the M1070's daily grind. This thing has an 8x8 wheel system, giving it insane traction to haul 80 tons of military might. Powered by a 700 horsepower engine, it's like a moving fortress. And for such a massive machine, it can still hit speeds of 50 miles per hour while towing. That's nothing short of impressive when you realize how heavy its load can get. The M1070 isn't just about towing, it's built for every type of environment. Whether it's desert sands, icy roads, or rocky mountains, this truck is designed to keep rolling. Its suspension system is tough as nails, and that's critical when you're hauling heavy tanks over bumpy, uneven ground. Oh, and its fuel tank holds nearly 250 gallons. Talk about an operational range. You could drive this thing for miles and still be good to go. But even though it's got brute force, it doesn't skimp on safety or comfort. The crew sits inside an armored cab that can withstand fire, shrapnel, and the unpredictable chaos of war zones. Throw in some climate control, a top-of-the-line navigation system, and communication gear. And you've got a truck that's not just about power, but also about keeping the crew safe and connected. The price tag? A cool $750,000 per unit. For that kind of cash, you're getting more than just a big rig, you're getting a logistical lifeline. The M1070 isn't there to look pretty or to go fast. It's built to do the heavy lifting, moving tanks and artillery across dangerous terrain. And it does it all while keeping the crew protected. The U.S. military and its allies know that when it comes to getting heavy equipment where it's needed, this truck is non-negotiable. The Oshkosh LVSR isn't your average military truck. It's built to take on the worst of the worst. Whether that's deserts that suck the life out of everything around you, jungles that swallow you whole, or snowdrifts that could bury your squad. This truck was crafted for the United States Marine Corps, and it's all about survival, mobility, and raw power. It's not just a vehicle, it's a tool for combat, logistics, and most importantly, keeping the mission moving no matter what. And the price tag? A hefty $600,000. But when you see what it can do, it starts to make sense. First things first, the LVSR's ability to move through hell and back without breaking a sweat is what really sets it apart. You've got a 10x10 all-wheel drive system that's ready to conquer any terrain. Mud, sand, snow, even the roughest of rocky paths? No problem. This truck's designed to keep going when everything else is stuck. It's got the muscle with a 600 horsepower Caterpillar C15 diesel engine, pushing it to carry a mind-blowing 16.5 tons of cargo without even blinking. Imagine the weight of a small building. This beast moves that kind of load while staying steady on the roughest roads you can imagine. And the independent suspension system it's rocking means it doesn't bounce around like an amateur on a dirt road. Add in a central tire inflation system, and you've got a vehicle that can adjust to different conditions on the fly, making sure it doesn't get bogged down, even in thick mud or deep sand. But this truck's more than just a monster of wheels. It's got brains too. The Automated Load Handling System, ALHS, is one of its smartest features. You don't need cranes or forklifts to load and unload. It does it all by itself. That's huge when you're in a high-risk environment where every second counts. You can imagine how important it is to get supplies out of a truck and onto the ground as quickly as possible when you're in a combat zone or a disaster area. This system cuts down the wait time, keeps people safe, and gets the mission done faster. And while all that tech and muscle is impressive, the real kicker is how the LVSR keeps its crew safe. It's built with an armored cab that's going to protect the people inside from ballistic threats, IED blasts, and shrapnel. This truck can survive hits from small arms fire and still keep going. So, while the enemy might be firing at it, you've got a good chance of making it out of the situation unscathed. Then you throw in the encrypted communication systems, the GPS navigation, and anti-jamming technology, and you've got a truck that's ready to operate even when the enemy is trying to mess with its signals. And it doesn't stop there. The LVSR comes in multiple variants that can handle a variety of tasks. Some are used for fuel transportation, others for recovery missions, and some even turn into mobile weapons platforms. Whether you're on a humanitarian mission, a resupply run, or need a tough armored vehicle to back up your troops, the LVSR's got you covered. This truck is more than just an expensive tool. It's a force multiplier, adding serious value to any operation. Then there's the Tatra T815-7 Force, a military truck that's been designed for the same kinds of extreme environments, but with a bit of a different flavor. Coming out of the Czech Republic, the Tatra T815-7 is all about toughness, adaptability, and flexibility. This thing can be customized to handle pretty much any job you throw at it. You can order it in 4x4, 6x6, 8x8, and even 10x10 configurations, giving it unmatched versatility. Whether you need a light transport vehicle or a heavy-duty beast capable of hauling massive loads, the Tatra T815-7 can be fitted to meet whatever mission you're on. At a price range of $400,000 to $600,000, it might seem like a hefty cost, but when you dig into the specifics, it becomes clear that this truck is built to last and perform under the toughest conditions. One of the standout features of the Tatra is its diesel engine, which comes in various sizes, pushing anywhere from 400 to 600 horsepower. That's more than enough to power through even the harshest battlefields. And then there's the independent suspension with a central backbone tube chassis that makes the truck practically indestructible. Explosions, artillery fire, uneven terrain, you name it, the Tatra can handle it without breaking down. It's engineered to withstand all the shocks and stresses that would send a regular truck straight to the scrapyard. The automatic tire pressure control system is also a game changer. It adjusts the tires to give the truck the best grip on whatever terrain it's rolling through, whether that's icy roads, sand, or rocky, uneven ground. The truck just keeps on rolling. Some trucks are built to carry the heaviest war machines, the Titan that hauls war. But don't think it's all just power and durability. The Tatra T815-7 is also built for survivability in combat. If you need protection from gunfire, IEDs, or even chemical and biological threats, this truck's got you covered. It can be fully armored, and that armor can be upgraded depending on what kind of risk you're facing. And again, just like the LVSR, the Tatra is incredibly customizable. It can be transformed into a mobile command center, a missile deployment vehicle, or even a troop transport. The Tatra's modular design makes it an incredibly flexible asset on the battlefield, capable of being reconfigured for different types of operations, no matter how fast the situation changes. One of the coolest features of the Tatra is the ability to equip it with various weapon systems. Some versions come with remote-controlled machine guns or anti-aircraft defense systems, making it a serious threat in combat. It's a truck that can carry your team, haul heavy gear, and even fight back if things get hairy. This adaptability and firepower are why forces across NATO and other military alliances swear by the Tatra, especially for high-risk missions where versatility is key. And let's be real, when you're dealing with something as high stakes as a military operation, every little advantage counts. These trucks are worth every penny because they don't just get the job done. They make sure that mission succeeds no matter what. Whether it's in the middle of a war zone or supporting a peacekeeping mission in a volatile region, both the Oshkosh LVSR and the Tatra T815-7 Force are built to deliver. They're expensive, but in the world of military logistics, those high costs are what make them absolutely indispensable. You're not just paying for a truck, you're paying for a machine that can make the difference between success and failure. The Mayen HX81 is one of those vehicles that makes you question how something so big can look so sleek. It's a German beast, built by MAN Truck and Bus, and it's not here to mess around. This truck isn't just about hauling heavy loads, it's about hauling heavy loads through hell and back. Picture this. It's designed to carry the biggest, baddest military gear you can imagine. Tanks, artillery, armored vehicles, and it doesn't just carry them. It moves them fast and efficiently, even through the worst terrain you can throw at it. We're talking about getting a Leopard 2 tank, which weighs over 60 tons, from point A to point B in the quickest way possible, no matter how bumpy the road, or lack of road, is. This thing's got a 680 horsepower diesel engine, which is like having a small rocket under the hood. When it's loaded up with up to 73 tons of military equipment, you'd think it'd be sluggish, but nope. The 8x8 drive system gives it enough traction to keep going even on muddy fields, steep hills, and rocky paths. No matter how nasty the terrain gets, the HX81 stays grounded, with a high-drop pneumatic suspension that absorbs shocks and keeps everything stable. It's almost like it's built for a smooth ride on a battlefield, if that's even a thing. Then there's the central tire inflation system that adjusts the pressure as needed, so the HX81 always has the best grip on whatever surface it's rolling across. Sand, snow, or asphalt? It doesn't matter. The truck adapts, like it was born to handle anything. But let's not get too carried away with the cool features yet. The HX81 has another card up its sleeve. It's armored. This truck doesn't just transport gear. It makes sure that the crew inside stays alive, even when things get explosive. The cab is protected against small arms fire, IEDs, and artillery shrapnel. So when the shit hits the fan, the crew can ride it out without worrying about their survival. And it's not just about brute strength and survival. The HX-81 is loaded with encrypted communication systems and GPS navigation, which means it doesn't just move gear from one place to another. It does it smart. It's a truck that knows where it's going, how to avoid enemy interference, and how to get the job done efficiently. You can even customize it for other roles, like hauling fuel, setting up repair stations, or running a mobile command center. For $550,000, you're not just buying a military truck. You're buying a war machine that's built to adapt, survive, and dominate. Now, over in Finland, they've got something a little different, but equally insane. The Sisu E13TP. This truck isn't about massive firepower or being a tank's best friend. It's about surviving in the most extreme conditions on the planet. Sisu Auto, the Finnish company behind this machine, has a history of making trucks that laugh in the face of Mother Nature. And the E13TP is no different. This thing's built for the kind of environments where most vehicles would just give up and quit. Think sub-zero temperatures, dense forests, and swampy marshlands where every step is a battle. If you're stuck in a war zone that looks like a frozen hellscape or a boggy mess, this is the truck you want. Under the hood, you've got a 445 horsepower Caterpillar diesel engine and the same 8x8 drive system that makes sure this truck stays planted no matter how crazy the terrain gets. Whether it's snow-covered mountains, muddy swamps, or rocky paths that feel like they'll swallow you whole, the E13TP handles it all with ease. And if you're thinking, yeah, but isn't it just a military transport truck? Well, think again. It's got a reinforced suspension system that keeps it steady even when it's loaded down with heavy equipment. And it's got this tire pressure control system that optimizes traction based on whatever surface it's on. It's smart, efficient, and doesn't break a sweat when things get rough. But what really sets the E13TP apart is its armor. When you're in the middle of a war zone, the last thing you want is to be sitting in a truck that can be torn apart by bullets or an IED. Luckily, the E13TP's cab is fully armored, able to take on ballistic fire, landmines, and IEDs without breaking a sweat. It's not just a transport vehicle, it's a moving fortress. And if that wasn't enough, the E13TP has all the tech you need to survive in a cyber warfare-heavy environment. Encrypted communication systems, GPS tracking, and even electronic countermeasures to block enemy signals. It's like they took a military truck and turned it into a cybernetic warhorse. The beauty of the E13TP is that it's not a one-trick pony. This thing's modular, meaning you can turn it into whatever you need, whether it's transporting troops, providing engineering support, conducting reconnaissance, or running a mobile command center. The versatility makes it a prime candidate for any mission that requires a truck tough enough to survive in the harshest environments. And at $500,000, it's not exactly cheap, but for a truck that can handle the apocalypse, or at least a very harsh battlefield, it's well worth the investment. Take the BAE Systems FMTVA-1P2, for instance. This thing isn't just any transport vehicle, it's a whole damn system on wheels. We're talking about a truck that can be fitted for pretty much anything. Cargo, personnel transport, mobile repair, even as a battlefield hospital if things get hairy. It's designed to be versatile, to take on whatever mission it's given without breaking a sweat. Under the hood, it's packing a Caterpillar C7 engine with 330 horsepower, which means it can haul some serious weight across any terrain you throw at it. And the Allison 3700 SP automatic transmission? Smooth, effortless. You're not getting stuck in the mud or sliding out of control on steep inclines. But here's where things start to get interesting. The suspension system. This truck doesn't just bounce over rough terrain, it absorbs it. Whether you're driving through mountain passes, dense forests, or rocky deserts, the FMTV A1P2 doesn't care. It just keeps going. And the protection? The cab's reinforced to the point where it could probably survive a small war on its own. You've got armor to stop small arms fire, shrapnel, and even explosive fragments. This truck's made to keep its crew and cargo safe, no matter what's coming at it. But that's just the start. Some trucks aren't just strong, they're built to survive. War trucks built for survival. It's got this cool central tire inflation system that lets the driver adjust the tire pressure while on the move. So, if you're deep in a muddy swamp or crossing a sandy stretch, you can tweak things to maintain perfect traction. The truck isn't just about brute force, it's also smart. The digital systems on board give real-time diagnostics, so if something's off, you'll know about it instantly. No waiting around for the engine to sputter out in the middle of nowhere. And when the mission is critical, and speed is everything, the FMTV A1P2 is airliftable by a C-130. You need to get it somewhere fast? No problem. Now, don't think the price is just some number on paper. For $450,000, you're not just buying a truck, you're buying a whole damn support system. Its adaptability, durability, and raw power make it indispensable in combat or humanitarian missions. It's like a mobile base of operations all on its own. Sure, it'll cost you, but it's built to last, with every detail thought through to make sure it keeps doing its job, no matter how brutal the environment gets. Then there's the Tatrapan 8x8. Made by Tatra Defense Vehicle in Slovakia, this truck's a beast in its own right. It looks like something that could tackle anything the world throws at it. And honestly, it probably could. Powered by a Tatra T3C-92 8.90 V8 engine that churns out 400 horsepower, it's not just about muscle. This truck's got the kind of mobility you want when you're in the trenches, where roads don't exist, or they might as well not. It's built on an 8x8 chassis, meaning all-wheel drive and all-terrain dominance. If the ground's uneven, steep, or just straight-up impassable, the Tatrapan doesn't care. It's made to get through. Its suspension system, with independent swinging half-axles, gives it the kind of ground clearance and stability that lets it move over rocks, sand, and even riverbeds without breaking a sweat. And while that's all nice for getting through tough terrain, it's not just the ride that matters. The cabin's tough, too. It's built to take a hit, designed to handle everything from small arms fire to flying shrapnel. This isn't just some truck that gets you from point A to point B, it's a fortress on wheels. And if things really go south, it's got an optional mine-resistant underbelly. So yeah, driving it through a high-risk area, you're a lot less likely to find yourself in a sticky situation. But what really sets the Tatrapan 8x8 apart is its adaptability. This thing can transform based on the mission at hand. Whether you need to haul standard military containers, carry supplies, or even turn it into a command center or medical unit, it's ready. It's like a chameleon, blending into whatever role is necessary. The truck's all-wheel drive system and the ability to switch up its mission configuration make it a true multitasker, even in the worst conditions. It's built for the chaos of the battlefield, but can just as easily be used for humanitarian aid in disaster zones. Even with all that power and protection, the Tatrapan isn't a gas guzzler. It's designed for efficiency, which is crucial when you're out in the field for extended periods. It won't leave you stranded for lack of fuel, and its digital communication systems ensure you're always connected, keeping you in touch with command units no matter how far out you are. The price tag for this Slovakian beast? $360,000. It might seem like a lot, but considering how much it's capable of and how many forces worldwide are using it, it's a pretty solid investment. You're not just paying for a truck, You're paying for a machine that's going to keep you alive and get you through the roughest missions. But what's amazing about both these trucks is how they manage to balance sheer power with practicality. These aren't just big, tough machines. They're meticulously designed to get the job done in environments that'll break a lesser vehicle in seconds. They've got the protection you need, the speed you want, and the versatility to make them a key asset in any mission. You can see why they're so highly valued by the military. Each one is a tool that goes beyond transport. They're built to take whatever's coming, whether it's on a battlefield or in a natural disaster zone, and keep pushing forward. And that's exactly what they do. The Navistar International 7000 isn't just another truck. It's a heavy-duty, all-purpose beast that's designed to handle anything the military can throw at it. With a price tag of $350,000, it's not cheap, but it's absolutely worth it. Built for the U.S. military and its allies, this truck's got a knack for flexibility. Whether it's hauling supplies, moving troops, or acting as a mobile command post, it adapts to whatever mission it's thrown into. This truck's power comes from its 430 horsepower engine. That's serious muscle, making sure it can carry some hefty loads across the world's toughest terrains. From the heat of the Middle East to the mountains of Afghanistan, this truck doesn't quit. It's got all-wheel drive and a suspension system that can handle anything you throw at it. Mud, rocks, sand, snow, you name it. The 7000 takes it on without breaking a sweat. And it doesn't just keep moving, it keeps moving safely. The truck's got armor plating to protect it from small arms fire, shrapnel, and even mines. Inside, the crew and the gear are safe while they're navigating active combat zones. On top of that, it's got communication systems that keep the truck connected to command centers and other units. That real-time connection is vital when you're coordinating movements in the chaos of the battlefield. Plus, the truck's fuel-efficient system means it can go for long stretches without needing a refill. But it's not just about power and protection. The 7000's versatility is where it really shines. It's got a modular design, meaning it can shift between roles. Need to move soldiers? No problem. Haul cargo? Done. Set up a mobile headquarters? Easy. This flexibility makes it a crucial asset for any military operation. Meanwhile, in Belarus, the MZKT-7930 is making its own mark as a monster of military logistics. Priced at $320,000, it's built for heavy-duty tasks, specifically transporting massive military equipment like missiles, radars, and artillery. This 8x8 truck is a workhorse, able to carry up to 24 tons of gear. It's particularly suited for hauling ballistic missiles like the S-300 and S-400, which are huge, sophisticated, and absolutely necessary for modern air defense. With the MZKT-7930, you can move these massive systems quickly and safely, even across the most rugged landscapes. Under the hood, the MZKT-7930 packs a 500 horsepower engine. That power, combined with the 8x8 wheel configuration, gives it incredible traction. Whether it's navigating through thick mud, snow, or rocky mountain trails, the MZKT won't get stuck. And its suspension system ensures that, even with a heavy load, the truck doesn't shake everything to pieces. That's crucial when you're carrying something worth millions of dollars. But it's not just about raw muscle. The MZKT is armored to withstand small arms fire, shrapnel, and even mines. The crew's protected while they're transporting sensitive equipment, ensuring that both the truck and its precious cargo reach their destination without a scratch. And like the Navistar, it's got top-notch communication systems, making sure the crew stays in constant contact with command centers and other units. That kind of coordination is essential when you're on a mission where the stakes couldn't be higher. The MZKT-7930 is a cornerstone of military strategy, built for moving critical assets over long distances and ensuring they're ready for action when needed. It's not just a truck, it's a vital part of military logistics. Whether it's missiles, artillery, or radars, this truck can haul it across rough terrain without missing a beat. It's a tough, reliable piece of equipment that you can't afford to overlook if you want your military assets to stay mobile and functional. With all this high-tech military firepower on wheels, one question remains: are these trucks built for protection or domination? Share your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.